If you live anywhere east of the Continental Divide from the Deep South to New England, stop what you are doing and listen right now. This Arctic blast is not finished. What you survived over the last 7 days was brutal. People are still without power. Families are still freezing in their homes. But here is what you need to understand. This pattern is not over. More Arctic air is coming. Another winter storm is hitting the East Coast right now as I record this. And beyond that, the second week of February could bring something even worse. The polar vortex may collapse and send even deeper cold into the lower 48 states. Here is exactly what is happening and what you must do to prepare. Over the last week, temperatures dropped 20 to 35 degrees below average across the entire eastern two-thirds of the United States. The Deep South saw temperatures they have not experienced in decades. Miami hit 36 degrees. Houston has freeze warnings. New Orleans has extreme cold warnings. The entire state of Florida is under freeze alerts. This is not normal cold. This is Arctic air with bone-dry dew points in the single digits pushing all the way down into the southern plains. That dry Arctic air allowed temperatures to bottom out last night, and they will bottom out again tonight. But right now, while that Arctic air grips the eastern United States, a powerful winter storm is rapidly intensifying along the East Coast. The low-pressure system is digging deep into the Carolinas and strengthening fast. As I record this on Saturday afternoon, the pressure has already dropped to 1,002 millibars. By tonight, it will drop below 992 millibars. When low pressure drops that fast, you get explosive development. That means heavy snow. That means blizzard conditions. That means dangerous winds along the coast. Let me give you the specific snowfall totals the National Weather Service is forecasting for this storm happening right now. Atlanta saw some snow this morning, but it will stay light, around 2 inches in Athens, 2 inches in Augusta. Charleston is looking at 4 inches. Columbia could see 5 inches. Florence is forecast for 7 inches. Myrtle Beach could get 6 inches. Fayetteville around 4.5 inches. But here is where this storm really hits hard. Charlotte is forecast for 7.5 inches of snow. Charlotte just dealt with sleet and ice last week. Now you are getting buried in heavy snow. Florence and Wilmington are in the heavy band. Jacksonville near the coast could see 10 inches. Greenville could get heavy totals. Virginia Beach may see 5 inches from this system. The storm weakens as it approaches D.C., leaving Richmond with only about half an inch. The winds with this storm are going to be dangerous. We are talking blizzard-like conditions along the coast. Wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour inland. 40-mile-per-hour gusts near the coast. The Outer Banks and Virginia Beach could see gusts up to 55 miles per hour. If you are in these coastal areas, stay inside. Do not travel. The combination of heavy snow and high winds creates whiteout conditions. You cannot see, you cannot drive safely. People die in these conditions. Now let me talk about the temperatures tonight because this is where it gets truly dangerous. If you live in the central or eastern two-thirds of the United States, tonight will be brutally cold. The West Coast stays mild and above average. But east of the Rockies, you are in the deep freeze. Oklahoma and Texas will see widespread 20s. Louisiana drops into the 20s. Mississippi will see teens. Alabama will see teens. Georgia will see 20s all the way down into South Florida. Miami at 36 degrees. The Carolinas, where heavy snow is falling right now, will drop into the teens. Pennsylvania will see single digits and below zero readings in some areas. Tennessee, I need you to pay close attention. You are forecast for 12 degrees tonight. 12 degrees. You still have people without power from the ice storm last week. You still have ice covering roads and power lines. Now you are getting hit with another night of dangerous cold. This is a disastrous situation. If you are in Tennessee and you do not have power, you must find a warming center tonight. Do not try to tough it out. 12 degrees without heat is life-threatening. Check on your neighbors. Check on elderly family members. Make sure everyone has a safe, warm place to stay tonight. Here is what happens next. The Arctic high pressure that is causing this cold is massive. It is bone dry. It means business. You felt it across the South where temperatures like this are rare. But this high pressure system will start to retreat by Monday and Tuesday. The Arctic air will pull back from the Deep South and shift toward the East Coast. That does not mean you warm up if you live on the East Coast. It means the cold hangs on for you while the central states finally get relief. By Tuesday and Wednesday, a weak front will move through portions of the south and southeast. This front is dry. It will not bring much precipitation. Areas that desperately need rain will not get it. But what this front does is set up the temperature pattern for the rest of the week. Behind this weak front, a massive warm-up begins across the west and central United States. By Friday, we are talking 20 to 25 degrees above average across the west. Oklahoma could see 60s, Texas could see 70-degree weather, Dallas has a high of only 32 degrees today. By Friday, Dallas could hit 72 degrees. That is a 40-degree temperature swing in 5 to 6 days. But Florida and the East Coast cannot shake the cold. Even as the central states warm up dramatically, the East Coast stays locked in below-average temperatures all week long. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast will feel this cold straight through the weekend. This is not a one-day cold snap. This is a week-long pattern of cold that does not let go. If you are looking at precipitation over the next 7 days, there is almost nothing. Where you have high-pressure ridging, you stay high and dry. The Arctic air is dry. The West Coast ridge is dry. Besides the Pacific Northwest coast, rainfall totals across the entire western and central United States will be near zero. The only areas that see precipitation are the southeast along that weak, cool front on Tuesday and Wednesday, and of course the Carolinas and Mid-Atlantic getting hit by the current upper-level low and coastal storm. But if you live in the Mid-Atlantic or Northeast away from this current storm track, you actually stay dry for the next 7 days. No snow, no rain, just cold and dry. Super Bowl weekend is coming up. If you have travel plans for the Super Bowl, pay attention. The West and Central United States will have well above average temperatures and dry conditions. Good weather for travel in those regions. But the East Coast and Mid-Atlantic stay cold. The Northeast stays cold. Arctic air continues to hang on across the entire eastern seaboard. If you are flying into these regions for Super Bowl weekend, expect cold weather. Layer up, be prepared. Now, here is what scares me most about this pattern. What comes after this week, the second week of February? Some of the long-range guidance is starting to show the polar vortex collapsing. When the polar vortex collapses, it sends even colder air rushing into the lower 48 states. We could be looking at another significant Arctic outbreak deeper into February. I am not forecasting specific storms 2 weeks out. That is impossible. But the pattern supports continued cold. The pattern supports the potential for more winter weather. If you live in the eastern United States, winter is not over, not even close. Here is what you must do right now. Do not wait. Do not assume the worst is behind you. 1. If you are in the path of the current storm hitting the Carolinas and Virginia right now, stay home. Do not travel. The roads are dangerous. The winds are dangerous. Wait until conditions improve. 2. If you do not have power, report your outage immediately. Call your utility company. Give them your address. Do not assume they know. The faster they know, the faster crews can respond. But understand that crews cannot work safely during blizzards. If you lose power tonight, it may not come back for days. Have a plan. Where will you go? How will you stay warm? 3. If you are in Tennessee or any area still recovering from last week's ice storm and you do not have power, find a warming center tonight. 12-degree temperatures without heat will kill you. This is not an exaggeration. Hypothermia is real. Carbon monoxide poisoning from improper generator use is real. Get to a safe, warm location. 4. Stock up on supplies today if you have not already. The current storm will make travel impossible in the Carolinas and Virginia through Sunday. If you need food, water, medications, batteries, get them now while you still can. Stores may be closed tomorrow. Roads may be impassable tomorrow. 5. Check your heating system right now. Make sure your furnace is working. Change your filter. If you have a generator, service it. Test it. Make sure you know how to use it safely. Never run a generator indoors. Carbon monoxide kills. 6. Protect your pipes. Let faucets drip tonight. Open cabinet doors under sinks so warm air reaches pipes. Disconnect outdoor hoses. Cover outdoor faucets. Frozen pipes burst. Burst pipes cause catastrophic damage. Prevent it now while you can. 7. Check on your neighbors. Check on elderly family members. Make sure everyone has heat. Make sure everyone has food and water. Make sure everyone knows where the nearest warming center is located if they lose power. Drop your city and state in the comments right now. I am reading every comment. There are thousands of people asking for specific forecasts for their locations. Atlanta, Memphis, Nashville, Charlotte, Raleigh, Wilmington, Virginia Beach, Richmond. I will be posting updates multiple times over the next week as this pattern continues and as we watch what develops in the second week of February. The more people who drop their location, the better I can tailor forecasts to your area. Here's the bottom line. You are in the middle of a dangerous cold pattern right now. A major winter storm is hitting the East Coast as I record this with heavy snow and blizzard conditions for the Carolinas and Virginia. Temperatures tonight will be life-threatening cold for millions of people, especially in areas still without power from last week's storm. This cold hangs on through the weekend and into next week for the East Coast, even as the central states warm up. And beyond that, the second week of February could bring another significant Arctic outbreak if the polar vortex collapses, as some models suggest. This is serious. This is not fear-mongering. This is meteorology. The pattern is clear. The cold is real. The danger is real. But you can protect yourself and your family if you prepare now and if you stay home during dangerous conditions. Subscribe if you have not already. Turn on notifications. Share this video with everyone you know from Texas to Maine. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. The more people who see this information, the more people who can prepare. Information saves lives. Preparation saves lives. Cancel non-essential plans if you are in the path of this current storm. Do not risk your life to go out. Wait until conditions improve. Schools will close. Businesses will close. Roads will be dangerous. Stay home, stay warm, stay safe. If you have flights, hotels, or events scheduled for the next week across the eastern United States, have backup plans. Monitor forecasts closely. Be ready to change plans if another system develops in the second week of February. Winter weather creates dangerous travel conditions that can last for days. One more time, drop your location in the comments. I will be back with updates as this pattern unfolds. I will be watching the long-range models for that potential polar vortex collapse in the second week of February. I will keep you informed every step of the way. Take care of yourselves and your families. Help your neighbors. Check on people who may be struggling. We survived the last storm. We will survive this one. But only if we prepare, only if we take this seriously, only if we help each other. Stay warm, stay safe. I will talk to you soon with the next update.